Now, y'all pray that I get some new ears. Those of you that are listening, what I want to ask you to do is put your support as you're learning and help them out if they've got any questions, through chat or whatever. So here we go. Eric is back. Pete is here, and I am holding on to one rein and riding this pony. So go ahead, Eric.
Well, we were discussing what...
Holding on to one rein and riding this pony. So go ahead, Eric.
Well, we were discussing what drew you, Billy, to regard the Torah.
Why? Hunger for Him, Eric.
But listen, you had a perfectly good New Testament church experience, which it's all you needed. You were saved on your way to heaven. You had your ticket ready to go, waiting for the rapture bus. What would make you go, wait a minute, there's one more thing I got to look at first. Why would you turn around and even look at the Torah? What?
Well, I got to tell you, Eric, the how should I say this? The way that the Baptist and the Episcopalian and Episcopalian, get that? Episcopalian. But anyway, these people are taught, and trained ministers, they're taught that they tell you from the pulpit, that trust me, I know what I'm saying. In other words, they never tell you to look and dig. Well, I just so happen to, only thing I can say is that Yeshua was pricking at me saying, wait a minute, this is not me. And He is the Word, remember? From beginning to end, okay? He's the Word. He said, this is not me, this is their tradition. So I began to start thumbing through, and I'm thinking, how can I sit under this when it ain't the truth? How am I going to be free if I don't know the truth? When He said, you'll know the truth, truth will make you free, it has to be Him to know. So that's how I got hungry, and I'm thinking, we're off like a dirty shirt from this place. We're off here. And pretty soon we wound up, doing it at home. And I wound up preaching over the internet and things like that. And I ain't where I want to be yet. We never quit growing, but that's what He instilled a hunger. There's a place inside of us that never can be filled but by Him and His truth, not man's tradition. Go ahead.
Now, if you get some versions of the Bible, it'll be the New Testament with Psalms and Proverbs. So if you were reading or studying in normal church, the New Testament, why not just look at Psalms and Proverbs? What would make you turn back to the Torah? Now, just for those who don't know, the Torah literally means instruction.
Absolutely.
Instructions.
Absolutely.
Now, but it also refers to the first 5 books. In Greek, it's Penta, again, 5, Pentateuch, or the Chumash in Hebrew, which means the 5. But the Torah itself is the instructions. Now, the interesting thing about the word Torah happens in Hebrew to be spelled the letter Tav, Vav, Resh, He. The word Vav, Resh, or, literally means light. The letter Tav can mean, pictographically, the sign of the covenant, and the letter He is to reveal something. So the word Torah can be, you might say, de-engineered or broken down and looked at by its integral parts of the 4 letters to mean the covenant of light is here revealed.
And that's, see, and let's slow down, because that's what Yeshua meant when He said that the blind lead the blind, they both fall in the ditch, because that's what's happening today. You can take that today, Eric, and put it to most mainstream churches. You got a blind up there above them, raised up above, whether it be wood or whatever, and then they're leading more blind, and they're both going to fall into the ditch because they don't have that light you're talking about.
Now, wait a minute. Now, how do you got to be fair to these guys. What makes you think that these guys are blind?
Because they're not following instruction, number one. Their eyes have been darkened. Don't you remember? He over and over through the prophet Isaiah and many more, he said what? He said, having eyes they do not see, having ears they do not hear. Lest what? Phrase it for me. Lest what? Lest they would what? Repent, turn, and go back to my instruction, then they will be able to see. That's what I'm getting at. These people today, they do not, as a matter of fact, I'll invite anyone that wants to come debate me, and I have before. Anyone, Joel Osteen, I don't care who it is, debate me on what is truth, because truth cannot be had or held without the Torah, because He is. The so-called one that they think they got saved by is the instruction. He is. What did He say? Let us make man in our image. He wasn't talking about T.D. Jakes and Joel Osteen with him. He was talking about the Word. Go ahead. You can see now I'm going to preach. Go ahead.
A place here in Isaiah, or Yeshayahu. Interesting thing, if you look at the way the word Isaiah is spelled, is Yod, Shin, Ayin, Yod, He. Sometimes it's Yod, He, Vav. So the Shin, Ayin is actually, remember I said Yeshua as we were talking at the pre-show, that it was Yod, He, Vav, Shin, Ayin. This word Shin, Ayin, these two letters, literally are teeth and eyes. And it literally means to save, redeem, help, deliver, salvation. So Yod, Shin, Ayin, Yesha, literally means he will save or he will deliver. And then Yod, He is the word Yah, which is to cause to exist. So Isaiah is Yeshayah or Yeshayahu, which literally means, if you use the word Yahu as in Yahweh, Yahweh's salvation. It's virtually the same name as Yeshua, only it's, instead of Yahshua, it's Isha Yah or Yahu. Anyway, just to say, most people wouldn't equate the word Isaiah with Jesus, but I'm saying it's virtually the same word in Hebrew. Anyway, you go to verse 9 here of chapter 29, and it says this, "Ponder it and be astonished. They have been utterly blinded. They were drunk, but not from wine. They staggered, but not from liquor. For Yahweh has poured upon you a spirit of deep sleep. He has closed your eyes. He has covered the prophets and your chiefs, the seers. To you all, the prophecy is like the words of a sealed document, which one gives to a literate person saying, 'Read this, please.' And he says, 'I cannot, for it is sealed.' Then the document is given to an illiterate person saying, 'Read this.' And he says, 'I'm not literate.'" There's more to that, but later, a few verses later, it says in verse 18, "On that day the deaf will hear the words of a book, and from darkness and blackness the eyes of a blind people will see. The meek will increase their joy in Yahweh, and the poor among the people will rejoice in the Kadosh One, the Holy One of Israel. For the fierce man is no more, the scoffer has ceased to be, and all who strive for iniquity will be cut off. Those who with the word cause man to sin and ensnare the one who gives rebuke at the city gate and mislead the righteous with falsehood." He's basically saying all those, well, first of all, some of the seers and prophets have been blinded by Yahweh himself. Furthermore, there are other people who have attempted to mislead those who would try to be righteous people. But there's those who lead them astray with falsehood, intentionally, trying to take advantage of them and corrupt them. But there will be a day where Yahweh will allow the words of his book to be perceived by the deaf, seen by the blind. What does this mean? Well, part of the study of this language of Hebrew is that every letter is a picture which means something. If you know what the letters mean, you can be illiterate and you can actually put the letters together and know exactly what the word says because you're looking at pictures. For example, this fellow by the name of Frank Seekins, who's in Scottsdale, Arizona, now by Phoenix, he started this study about 15 years ago or so, where he noticed that these are what he calls Hebrew word pictures. And for example, the word Ben is the word son, like the father's son. Ben. It's spelled B-N or Bet Nun in Hebrew. Well, Bet means a house, and it means to embody or put something into. And Nun, people render it as a fish or something which lives in the environment of like water, and then the fish jumps out. It's an action. It's like a lightning bolt. It's something which is energized for a quick movement, like a fish whipping its tail and scooting out of the way when you startle it. So Bet Nun, Ben, is basically the letter Nun, which is life, and the letter Bet, which is house, which is the life of the house. So a son is the life of the house. And the son is somebody which is born into the house, like a fish into the water. He grows, he develops, and then he jumps out to go start his own life with his own house. So this way that you could take Bet Nun and say, well, here is a Hebrew word picture. You'll read the word Ben, and if you know how to see the pictures, house and the living one that engages or energizes the house, well, that's a son. For example, here's another little Frank Seekins ism. The Hebrew word for man is Ish. It's spelled aleph, yod, shin. The Hebrew word for woman is Isha, which is aleph, shin, hey. If you take the yod away from man and the hey away from woman, you got Yah, which is yod-hey, the short form of the word Yah for Yahweh. And what you're left with is two aleph sheens for the man and the woman, and the word aleph sheen means fire. So you take Yahweh out of the man and the woman, and what you're left with is two fires. That's a little Frank Sequin's wordplay that he discovered how the language works. So what I'm saying is that if you know how the language works, you can see all kinds of puzzles or riddles embedded within the language. But the study that I've been doing is to say, how do you know what the letters really mean? Well, you could read on the internet, there's many YouTubes, or you can find books. And I'm going to give you now, for the people that don't know, a simple rendering of the objects that each letter represents. Now tell me if you see a story here. I'll bet you can't, but you could probably make something up, but I'll tell you what the letters mean. Take a couple minutes here. Aleph literally means ox. The word aleph means ox. It also means 1,000. It also has to do with the strength, like the strength of an ox, the strength of 1,000 guys. Bet means house. Camel, or gimel means camel. Dalet is door. Hey, ha is to, it means the, and it means to point to or to behold or to point, reveal something. Vav is a nail or a hook. Zion is a weapon or a plowshare, that which cuts open the earth or cuts something open. Chet is a fence. Tet, it's kind of like, they say it's a snake, but it's actually something which encompasses fully around, like a belt goes all around your waist, like 360 degrees, 100%. It's a full basket. Yod is a working hand, a hand that grasps a tool, like grab a hammer and start going with it. The hand of the Creator. Kaf is an open hand, like the palm of the hand, showing the 5 fingers splayed out. Lamed is the word literally means teach and learn. It's the shape of a shepherd's staff, and it means to provoke or to encourage, or like the carrot and the stick, to push, to pull, to incite to study. Mem literally is waters and can speak of chaos. It's like a wave, or a tidal wave, you might say. Nun is a fish, or that life energy that jumps out of the water. Samech is actually, you might call it a prop. It's a support, like propping up something. All these things mean other things too. We'll get into that in a little bit. But then the word ayin literally is an eyeball. Has to do with understanding. The letter pei is a mouth. Has to do with mouth things, speaking, eating, drinking, talking. Zadi is a fish hook. It can also mean a hunter or something, somebody laying on their side with their leg up, is the way some people see that picture. Kuf means behind, the back of the head, or that which follows, and it means after this. Resh is actually the head, or an exalted man, a nobility. Shin literally means teeth or fire or that which consumes. And the letter Tav is the final letter. It means the end, or it means the mark or the sign, like the sign of the covenant or the sign of an agreement. Now, do you see a story? Do you see a message there anywhere?
Yeah.
You do?
I really do.
Okay, what message do
you
you
want to
see?
know the answer?
Yes.
Yeah, I see from creation to the end. The Word of God.
Explain.
I see it. I see it from beginning to the end.
Okay, tell me here. I'll render it again quickly. Ox, house, camel, door, window, nail, weapon, fence, full basket, working hand, open hand, teach and learn, water, life coming out of the water, a prop, eyeball, mouth, fish hook, after this, exalted man, teeth or fire, sign of the covenant, the end. Now, what message do you see there?
The Torah.
Explain.
I can't. Oh, come on. I could, but y'all know me. I'm the type that I'd rather not say nothing if I say something wrong. This is Petey's putting too much on me at one time.
Oh, he
Slow
does
it
that.
down.
It's really
No,
good.
seriously, y'all. I mean,
It's wonderful.
It's really overwhelming in a sense, but